welcome. Today we are going to look at History, Paper 1, Section A, 25 marks. Question 1. Who are the Abasuba? They are descendants of refugees from Busonga and Buganda who settled in Mfangano and Rusinga Islands on Lake Victoria by 1800 AD. They have over the years absorbed many Luo cultural practices. Question 2. State 2 ways in which the Nandi and the Abaluya communities interacted during the pre-colonial period. Trade, warfares or raids, and intermarriage. State 2 social factors which contributed to the invasion of Kenya by the Europeans. Humanitarians in Britain believed that the slave trade would only be ended through effective European control. Europeans wanted to introduce their civilization to East Africa. They thought their culture was better than that of the Africans. Christian missionaries in East Africa appealed to the European powers for protection. European nations wanted colonies to settle their surplus populations. 4. State one reason why Chief Odera Akango of Jem and Asembo collaborated with the British. He knew that the British were determined to colonize the region and the fighting them was therefore useless and was aware of the military powers. 2. Neighbors communities of Seme, Uyoma, Sakwa, and Ugenya threatened his people and therefore needed the British to help him. He realized he could gain modern education and other benefits through collaborating with the British. 5. Give one reason why technical education was recommended for Africans during the colonial period to ensure that the Africans did not compete with Europeans for white-collar jobs. 6. What major change was introduced during the Limuru Conference of 1966? Creation of posts for 8 vice presidents, 1 for each province. 7. State 2 roles that civilians played during the state of emergency in Kenya. They supplied the freedom fighters with the intelligence information. They supplied food to the freedom fighters. They mobilized material and financial resources for the nationalist struggle. 8. Name 2 nationalists who were elected to the Leg Corps with Daniel Arap Moi in 1957. Oginga Odinga, Tom Mboya, Ronald Gala, Masinde Muliro, Lawrence Oguda, and James N. Moemi. 9. Name the political party Tom Mboya formed during the colonial period. Nairobi's People's Convention Party. 10. State the main impact of the Harambee philosophy. Numerous secondary and other post-primary educational institutions have and continue to be established. 11. Give 2 causes of national conflicts. Equitable distribution of national resources. Tribal differences between communities over issues such as land. Religious differences. People of different religions groups may clash over issues of faith. Leadership squabbles as people fight to occupy positions of power. 12. Identify 2 social rights of a citizen. Right to marry and start a family. Right to education. Right to belong to a religion of one's choice. 13. Identify 2 duties of presiding of officers during elections. 1. Supervise the counting of votes. 2. To assist to illiterate and physical challenge to vote. 3. To ensure voters' cards are valid. Announce results for the polling station. Ensure order in the polling station. 14. Identify 2 officials of the executive arm of Kenyan government. The President, the Ministers, Vice President, Head of Civil Service, and Secretary to the Cabinet. State 2 functions of the Judicial Service Commission. Appoints, promotes, disciplines, and disseminates magistrates. Advises the President and the Chief Justice on appointment of the judges. Section B, 45 marks, 16A. Explain 5 reasons for the migration and the settlement of the plain Levites into Kenya. 1. Natural increase in population led to the instability and forced Africans to migrate. Prolonged periods of drought and famine caused migration. The outbreak of diseases led to migration. Internal conflicts that led to instability forced communities to migrate. Attacks by neighboring communities led to migration to safer lands. Some people migrated for the sake of adventure. 16b. Describe the social organization of the Abagusi. They believed in the existence of one supreme god, Ngoro, the creator of the universe. 2. They believed in the existence of ancestral spirits who mediated between them and the Ngoro. 3. They were organized into clans, of which had a symbolic animal totem that was revered and worshipped. They had a common language, customs, and traditions. The Abagusi society was basically polygamous. Women performed domestic work while boys herded cattle. They initiated the young into adulthood through circumcision of both boys and girls. The basic social unit was the family, which was headed by the father. 19A state 3 problems that the Indian workers faced during the construction of the Uganda Railway. Harsh climatic conditions, for example, high temperatures in some areas and extremely low ones in other areas. Scarcity of water in some of the regions the railway passed through. At Savo, they were harassed by lions which attacked and killed some. They suffered from jiggers and tropical diseases such as malaria and sleeping sickness. They faced hostility from some local communities, for example, the Nandi, who stole railway construction materials. 17b. Discuss the consequences of the development in transport and communication in Kenya. It led to the expansion of both local and international trade. People from different parts of the country were able to interact, thus promoting national unity. Transport systems facilitated effective administration because it enabled government personnel to travel to various parts of the country within a short period. 4. They provided employment for Africans in airports, airlines, railways. Loss of lives through accidents. Improved communication between the government and its citizens through the use of radio, telephone, television. They speeded up business transactions, for example, through the use of the telephone. Businesses are now able to advertise their products through the radio and television. The radio, cinema, and television provide mass entertainment to the people. 18a. Name 3 Christian missionary groups that pioneered the establishment of mission stations in Kenya during the 19th century. The East African Scotland Mission, the American Seventh-day Adventists, the Holy Ghost Fathers, the Consolata Fathers, the Mill Hill Fathers. 18b. Describe the role played by the missionaries in Kenya's social development during the colonial period. They established the first schools for the East Africans. They trained catechists to assist in the spread of the gospel. They spread Christianity among the Africans. They built hospitals and health centers. They taught Africans how to read and write. They translated the Bible into local languages. They cared for the sick and elderly. Schools, they produced the first skilled workers for colonial administration. 19a. What are the factors that led into the introduction of multi-party democracy in Kenya in 1992? Intolerance of KANU to dissenting views of the people, which often resulted to the expansion of those who harbored them. Alleged rigging of the 1988 general elections by KANU activists, which created discontent. Pressure from the donor community who tied finances to multi-party democracy. Repressive measures by the government. For example, it denied the licenses for public meetings, leading to the disturbances such as the Sabasaba riots on July 1990. Repeal of Section 2A of the Kenya Constitution in December 1991. Influence from other African states which had adopted multipartyism. Failure by the government to adopt all the recommendations of the Saitoti Review Committee of 1990. 19b. Explain how the existence of many parties have benefited the people of Kenya. Freedom of assembly and association has been enhanced, has facilitated accountability and transparency in the government. The application of the rule of law has improved. The fear of a powerful one-party state, that is dictatorship, has been eliminated. The opposition has acted as a check and balance to minimize the excesses of authority by the government. It has enhanced social equality and the people's right to take part in the government decision-making process. Cultural interaction has been promoted since political parties compete for support throughout the country. Freedom of speech for both the individual and the mass media has been improved. A growing number of Kenyans are now more politically aware than before. It led to the repeal of some unjust and oppressive laws, e.g., the Chief Act and the Public Security Act. 11. All ill consent and Ashley bills presented to Parliament have been rejected. Kenya's image by foreign donors and investors has improved, hence the socio-economic development. C. 30 marks. 21a. Explain the importance of national unity in Kenya. It enhances political stability, promotes nationalism and patriotism, promotes cooperation and opens opportunities to excellence, promotes rapid socio-economic development, promotes collective responsibilities in times of need, reduces fear, suspicion, and power struggles, enables a country to solve common problems. 21b. What factors promote national unity in Kenya? 1. The Constitution. The Constitution provides for unitary system of government, underlines equality of all Kenyans, contains the Bill of Rights which protects Kenyans against any form of discrimination. 2. Education. All students in public schools are subjected to the same syllabus and exams. Curriculum emphasizes on the importance of national unity, conscious mixing of students, especially in national schools, curricular activities, for example, music, drama, and games. 3. Equal distribution of national resources and social amenities, for example, schools and healthcare centers. 4. Social and economic interaction, for example, religious meetings, intercommunity marriages, cultural fetes, games and sports. 5. Economic activities, for example, use of a common currency, equal employment opportunities. 6. Use of a national language, that is Kiswahili, which reduces suspicion between people. 7. Harambee motto, which encourages people to pool their resources together for the common good. 8. Urbanization, which facilitates coexistence of people from different ethnic backgrounds. 9. Legislature, where each Kenyan community is represented. 10. The presidency. Kenya has one president who represents and protects the interests of all Kenyans. 11. The mass media, which disseminates similar ideas across the country. 21A. Define the term democracy. It is a system of government where supreme power rests with the people. 21B. Explain the role of citizens in a direct democracy. They initiate legislation. They formulate laws to govern them. They formulate government policies. They elect persons to implement government policies, for example, members of parliament. They have machineries to check on the possible abuse of power by the elected representatives. They have powers to recall a non-performing elected leader. They determine leadership and all other important aspects of government through the vote. Elective government positions are held on a rational basis. 22A. State 3 components of a national budget. An estimate of expected revenue, sources of expected revenue, for example, taxes, expenditure, that is, ways in which the revenue will be spent. 22B. Explain ways in which the government spends revenue. To finance development projects, for example, construction of roads, bridges, hospitals, and learning institutions like colleges and universities. To construct government offices from where government officers work. To purchase equipment for government officers to facilitate daily operations. 4. The government also spends money to pay civil servants and other public sector employees. 5. The government spends money to service loans from both local and international community. The government revenue is spent for the payment of subscription fee to continental, regional, and the international organizations to which Kenya is a member. For example, the AU, the EAC, and the UN. 7. The government uses its revenue to pay bills, for example, water and electricity for government offices. 8. Government uses revenue to assist people during natural calamities, for example, floods, drought, and famine. This is done through the provision of food, medicine, and clothing. Did you understand? Kindly let me know in the comment section below and what video I can look at tomorrow. Thanks for subscribing and listening to me. God bless you.